Hey y'all, and welcome back to Tab Space. So, the people have spoken, and we're starting a new segment. It's going to be called Tea Time with Tab. And in this segment, I'm basically going to go over the hot topics and the biggest things to react to right now. But I'm going to kind of come at it with a different spin. It's not going to be so much based on the drama and the gossip per se, but more what we can take away from these types of videos, people's behaviors, what spiritual message we can gain from it. Just as a whole, I want this to be more of an educational thing than like a drama based thing. But I think nowadays, in the political climate that we're in, you kind of need to relate on a different level. And sometimes a reaction is one of the best ways to see in full technicolor how things are so spiritual. So, anyways, before we get into the content and everything else, I'm going to drop a fair use disclaimer because we need to make sure that we're not getting ourselves sued. All right. So, fair use disclaimer. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that may otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit educational or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. This video may contain copyrighted material that has not been specifically authorized by the copyright owner. We believe our use of this content qualifies as fair use under the U.S. law. However, if any copyright holder believes that their material has been used improperly, please contact me directly. You can contact me via YouTube. You can contact me via my Gmail at toarenberger@gmail.com. All right. So now that we got that out of the way, let's get into it. Our first topic on the docket is Halle and DDG. Now, I have not dove back into this case since earlier today. For all I know, there could be more updates, but we're just going to go with what we see currently. All right, so just give me 2 seconds so I can get the video going for us and let us get into it.
Halle Bailey filed a police report allegedly she's claiming that DDG put hands on her, and now she wants a
Ooh,
court order protection from the father.
hold up. As you can see, your girl is new at this. Just be patient with me. And we'll have it all together very shortly. All right, let's get into it.
Halle Bailey filed a police report allegedly she's claiming that DDG put hands on her, and now she wants a court order protection from the father of her child. Now, in the police report, Halle said that she broke up with DDG back in October, and since then they have been having issues when it comes to child visitation, and she has been trying to have conversations with him about it. And back in January, she tried to have a conversation with him, and things got physical. DDG came to her house to pick up Halo, and while Halle was putting Halo in the car, DDG was getting frustrated, and he was ready to go, and he really didn't want to have a conversation with her, but she was trying to talk to him about child visitation. He got so mad and screamed, "Get out my car, B!" And Halle got nervous because Halo started crying, so she didn't want to leave the car because Halo was crying. So DDG was trying to force her to get out the car. The report says that's when they allegedly started wrestling, with DDG pulling her hair, slamming her face on his steering wheel, and chipping her tooth. Halle said she was in pain and crying. Although that stopped the fighting, she was still worried about Halo, so she remained in the car for the ride over to DDG's house, where she told his family what happened in the car. Now, once DDG family told her they'll take care of the baby, she left. She had bruises on her arm. She had a chipped tooth. She was in pain. She did attach the pictures to her restraining order. And also in the police report, she said allegedly that DDG creeped her out back in March when he showed up at her home and entered without permission and went to her bedroom and texted a picture of Halle's empty bed to her, along with the text message, "Now I know what you've been on, LOL."
Okay, so let's just start back a little bit. Going through abuse multiple times in my life, the one piece of advice that I will give to any victim. I like to say survivors versus victims. I'm not a big fan of the word victim. The people you need to speak to about the alleged abuse is not the family of the abuser. Because, I mean, y'all will see later on, but the family of an abuser has loyalty to the abuser, not to you. And unfortunately, you're going to get from their side of the issue somebody agreeing. First, they'll agree with you that that's abuse, that they're sorry, and they'll kind of get in your good graces to get what they want out of it. So in this scenario, it's the child. And they're going to save face with you. They're not going to tell you straight to your face you're not being abused. But the moment that they are out of your presence, that's what they're discussing. That's what they are planning to make a case for, is that you're not being abused. They likely do not believe you, no matter how close you are to the family. You do have rare cases where there's a parent that does not realize that their child had that in them, and they will go to bat for you. But only so far, because most parents don't want to see their children in jail, in legal trouble, any of the things, whether they really deserve it or not. So I think that unfortunately, the first mistake here and the first thing that victim blamers are going to point to is, well, why didn't you file a police report then? Well, why didn't you get the authorities involved? Why did you only speak to his parents? What do his parents have to say? Is their account the same as your account? Unfortunately, we live in a world where abuse victims are rarely believed, especially if they're women, especially if they're Black women. So, unfortunately, the moment that the abuse happens, you're put in a position to have to be overly diligent, regardless of your relationship to that person, how much you love them and care for them, any of the things. Because that's the first thing that people are going to point to. Well, why did you do a better job of reporting this sooner? And there could be a plethora of reasons. Fear is one of the biggest, especially with high profile people. As this story unfolds, you'll start to see that because of the fan base of the abuser, it almost immobilizes the victim or the survivor in this situation, because she's got fans, he's got fans. Both of their fan bases are going to kind of duke that out. But unfortunately, as a victim, you have to deal with those fans of his that are going to sit there and play in your face about your abuse. So it is extremely unfortunate that it got to this point in order for it to come out or for anything to be done about it. I'm glad that she went the route of the restraining order, because no matter what their fans have to say, no matter what their parents have to say, no matter what anybody looking on the outsider's point of view can say, if you were able to obtain a restraining order, a restraining order is not just like, this person's bothering me, I need you to put a restraining order on them. Okay, we're going to process that through the courts. Like, in order for you to get a restraining order on a person, you have to have proof. And I'm speaking from personal experience, because I have been in a position to begin the process of a DV restraining order. You need proof. And I'm gonna be honest, it's a very daunting experience to try to report abuse to the authorities, because you're terrified. First off, as Black women, or just Black people in general, we're already not entirely inclined to believe that the police force has our best interest at heart. So that's daunting enough, but it's also now I have to go find evidence. And when you're being abused, you're usually not thinking about the aftermath and the evidence that you need to be collecting while you're getting abused. You're usually just trying to heal yourself from the abuse. So I hate this. I hate when stuff like this happens. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter if it's somebody I know personally in my real life. If I see it on the internet, no matter what, I cannot stand abuse. If you have any personal feelings towards somebody that you're in some form of relationship with, I don't care if it's your baby mother, your baby father, your boyfriend, your husband, your friend, your parent, you have to protect yourself, first of all. And second, you always have the option to walk away. Like being in the position of somebody that would do something abusive to somebody else, you can always walk away. You can always leave. If he didn't like what she had to say or didn't want to talk to her, he easily could have just said, you know what? I'm going to leave Halo here for the night. I'm going to go home because you got me bent. And I mean, if need be, you go through the court process. If you have a leg to stand on there. If you have a leg to stand on there. Keep that in mind. But don't put yourself in a position to have to get a restraining order put on you. Don't put yourself in a position to have to go to jail. Don't put yourself in a position to get sued, because that moment of abuse, you getting whatever feelings that you had inside of you out, it ain't worth it. It's not worth all of this. It's really not.
Halle says she interpreted the text as DDG accusing her of having sex with other people. 4 days later, she claimed he really exploded when he came back to her house. Halle told him that she and the baby were sick and she didn't want Halo to leave home, and she claimed that's when he got verbally abusive and smashed her Ring camera and ran away with Halle's phone. As he drove off,
Now, I'm going to be honest. DDG, DVD, whatever the heck you want to call him. He's a young black man in America that's had money since before his frontal lobe even started to develop. All of those things in like nowadays put you in a position to be extremely emotionally dysregulated. A large amount of money, growing up in the African American community, and the entitlement that comes along with being a black man. And then the entitlement of being a black man with lots of money. Being the black man that brought your family from possible poverty to from rags to riches, pretty much. I'm not giving that boy an excuse. I can tell he's extremely emotionally dysregulated, because if you pay any lick of attention to the things that DDG has done since he announced his breakup with Halle, at first he did a very good job PR wise. He was very smart and selective about the amount of information that he was giving out. He was smart about not even saying anything about it for a little bit of time. And he kept the personal and let us as viewers know only what we needed to, which was nothing. We didn't even have to know that they broke up, but they decided to tell us. So, because of that, now we know. And people on both sides have been making their assumptions as it is. And that is one thing as a public, we got to work on not doing so much. We don't know these people. Just because you turn your Twitch on and you see this person on stream for however many hours at a time does not mean that you know them. These parasocial relationships are out of hand because we think we can sit here and be like, he did it, she did it, she's wrong, he's wrong. I don't know about y'all. I know me personally, on the day that all this stuff happened back in January up until today. I don't know Halle. I don't have her number. We ain't never had a conversation in person. DDG, same thing. Don't know him. Probably never will. So that said, for me to say either way that I know what happened, I don't. Okay? All this stuff is alleged. And honestly, I'm not even a until it's proven in a court of law because let's be honest, the court of law could be wrong. The law is wrong sometimes. The judge could be wrong, the jury could be wrong, people can be persuaded by numerous different things, factors. We don't know what really happened. All we have is what's being presented to us right now. And from my observations, the boy is extremely emotionally dysregulated and he started to move sloppy ever since he's tried to get his comeuppance with Halle. First, he started by bringing these random girls around, then making album covers with other females. Like, it's literally like watching an ex of mine go out of their way to hurt me. I've seen it so many times before. They're not doing it because they're moving on and they want to show you that. No. This has all been an elaborate scheme by him for a minute to hurt that girl's heart the way he feels hurt. Because from what it seems, the fact that she broke up with him, he no longer has the same grip on her that he once did. And because of that, that makes somebody that's emotionally dysregulated and entitled extremely angry. They love control. They have control over almost every aspect of their life otherwise. And the one thing that they can't, they will put themselves in a position to lose it all over that one thing that they cannot control. And if you have any understanding of life, there are about a handful of things that you have actual control over in life and a large percentage of things that you don't. But one thing you can control is your reaction to things, your emotions, the way you act towards people, the things that you do, the things that come out of your mouth. Like, what he's being accused of, he has control over all of that. He doesn't have control over that woman. And like it's been said at the beginning of the video, they've been broken up since October. October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. It has been 8 months. It's almost been a year since they broke up, which is crazy to think about. In 4 more months, it'll have been a year. There's no reason why he's showing up at her house. I don't care if it was the day after they broke up. There's no reason why you're breaking into this girl's home. I mean, there's no sign of breaking and entering, which means that you probably know how to get in. But you are going into this girl's home and you are coming at her for anything she's doing. Even if her bed was messed up from the night before, or if it wasn't, who cares? That is not an excuse to threaten, menace, or do the things that this boy is accused of doing to this woman. There's no reason for it. Once you're broken up, you're broken up. It doesn't matter if you have a kid together or not. Do I wish we lived in a perfect world where people didn't have children until they were married, so that way they wouldn't be put in this position? For sure. Do I wish we lived in a perfect world where a divorce wasn't a thing? Yes, but we don't. Unfortunately, divorce is on the rise, and these baby mama, baby daddy situations are on the rise even further. Like, I think that it's quite possible that there are more baby mamas, baby daddies than there are husbands and wives. And don't even get me started on multiple baby mamas. This is the type of emotional dysregulation that comes from a broken home. And this is a broken home that they created, unfortunately. And that's on both of them. You make a decision when you lay down with a person. You have to be super careful about who you decide to lay down and make a baby with, because this is the type of stuff that can happen when you do not really know who it is that you're dealing with. And I'm not blaming Halle at all. That's one thing I want to make extremely clear. I do not victim blame. Survivor blame, whatever I want to call it, I don't do that. But there's a difference between blame and accountability. Both sides need to take accountability. I'm not with blame, though. All right, let's continue.
She claimed that DDG threw the phone out the window and yelled to her, "Go get it, B." The incident prompted Halle to go file a police report, and she says she also has a ring footage to back up her side of the story. Now, this all happened when DDG went live that time, and he was saying how Halle wasn't allowing him to see his son, and he wanted to see his son. Well, she's saying that's the day when he threw her phone and got verbally abusive.
This all seems like extreme manipulation, and using the baby as a pawn in the manipulation is just so sick to me.
But for Halle, the final straw came just last weekend when she said that she was vacationing with Halo and her sister in St. Lucia, and she said that DDG texted her a link to social media post claiming that she was on the island with singer Brent Fires. Halle replied, "Now
Who cares? Like, if she is on the beach with Brent Fires, with all the girls that I've seen on this man's page, this boy's page, like, you got to be kidding me right now." Like, it's so crazy to me how fragile the male ego is. You could bump and grind with 20 females online. The moment that she does it, it's a problem. And that's crazy to me. And this is all, like, the Brent Fires thing isn't even confirmed. I haven't seen a single picture of the two of them together on vacation. Not one. A lot of times these celebrities be going to places at the same time as each other. It doesn't necessarily mean she was with him. And again, even if she was, how does the cause fit the means? How does you throwing her phone out the window and doing all of this fit that when you're again broken up? And that's the thing that kind of bothers me about his fan base. They're making this excuse that she deserves this because, oh, she was on vacation with another man. We don't know that that's true. And even if it is, how does that? She didn't cheat on him. They're not married. They're not even dating. So I'm lost. Now, there's a possibility that there's more to the story and that they are having some sort of communication beyond just passing the baby back and forth. We all know about how a lot of baby mama, baby daddy situations are not as clear cut as they seem. Like, they'll still be talking, hunching, whatever. And that's a possibility. But it's also possible that they're not doing any of that stuff. She just wants to co-parent, and he doesn't want to do that. And everybody talks about women are so crazy. They do this and they do that. Once you give them some pipe, they just don't know how to act. Soul ties are a real thing. Don't matter whether you're a woman or a man. Once you intertwine those souls, somebody gonna wake up the next day feeling some type of way. Maybe both of them. Men are not nearly as susceptible as females because they're a lot more carnal than we are. But that said, it doesn't change the fact that soul ties are real. That's why you have to be so careful about who you lay down with.
Not with any man out here, I wouldn't do that. I have Halo. Please let me enjoy my Mother's Day in peace. I hope you're okay and feel better soon." Well, the judge did grant Halle a restraining order requesting DDG to stay 100 yards away, and the judge also gave her permission to take their son to Italy, where she'll be filming a movie for 2 months. DDG.
Now, this indicates to me something happened to an extent, because again, like I said at the beginning, you need proof in order to get a restraining order. This isn't something that the judge just willy-nilly is going to hand your way for no good reason. Something transpired. What exactly? Don't know. Wasn't there. Haven't seen all the footage yet. But we know something happened for her to get that restraining order.
She also has to stop posting and streaming about her and the child. Halle claims that DDG has been whipping his fans into a frenzy by trashing her when he live streams. Y'all leave your comments down below. We definitely gonna get into this conversation tomorrow because, yeah.
Why are they saying GGTMZ?
Okay, now this right here, this is my major issue with the response, enablers, all of it. Okay. Just like I wasn't in that room with these two people, I promise you that this boy on the stream was not in the room with those two people when this all transpired. So why people on the internet and people in real life, because they think that they know this boy, want to sit here and say, he would never, you don't. How do you know? How do you even know him? How do you even know him besides Twitch? Because you get to see this boy for so many hours a day on Twitch, because he puts on a nice, pretty smile and smiles in your face. There are things called sheep in wolves' clothing. Or wolves in sheep's clothing, excuse me. People that seem to be very nice, great people in front of an audience. But as soon as the door closes, they will put you through HE double hockey sticks, baby. I dealt with one in full Technicolor for a year of my life. I've dealt with multiple of them. But like, I saw it most in one person, and it showed me. It does not matter what the parents think, what the friends think. It don't matter, none of that. Just because a person seems like they are a good person, like they are nice, does not mean that they are. And I really want people to understand that, especially nowadays. Most people, if they're going to be what y'all call narcissistic, they're going to be covert about it. Most people are not going to come straight to your face and be like, I'm a piece of garbage. I treat everybody like garbage. Everybody that's ever been in my life, I treat them like crap. Most people are not going to just willy-nilly admit that. They're not. You got to really get to know them, and they got to take their mask off in order for you to get a real full idea of who somebody is. So this clip right here about to make me upset.
Let's see. Why are they saying GGTMZ? Alright, I'm looking at her story now. What? Oh, fuck. Fuck all that, fuck all that. Don't even.
That can't even be real.
Fuck all that, bro. Fuck all that.
But that can't even be real.
But,
that's the thing.
But don't even. But you remember we.
That can't even be real. That's the thing. You know all about it, bro. Like, you know about it.
Alright, y'all. So I got into my editing bag and I thought about it. It is possible that that boy found out on TMZ that the restraining order had been placed and granted. I didn't consider like emergency restraining orders, which it could be a whole different process. It's quite possible she could have gone to court. She could have gotten this granted with or without his presence, with or without summoning him. If it is an emergency situation, which if some form of alleged abuse happened, it could be that. Now I know in my state, proper process is you and the person that you are getting the restraining order on go to court. But I also don't live, I don't think they're out of California. I don't live in California either. So I don't really know their laws on DV. But I just wanted to throw that in there because when I looked back at the video and the clip, I was like, it's possible he might not have known. He knows what he did, but it's possible that he didn't know about the restraining order until this point. So
You've been alerted. If there's a restraining order out on you, it's real. If it's public record, it's real. You sitting there smiling and, well, I just don't know what they're talking about. It's the same PR tactic that a lot of these females use when they get hit with something real. What? Me? No, not me. Oh my gosh, I can't believe they would say something so terrible about me. Again, a judge granted a restraining order. You didn't show up to court. You thought that that was going to do you good. That actually puts you right in the position that you're in with the restraining order getting granted. If you don't show up to court, you are proving that you did exactly what that person said you did, whether you want to admit it or not. Like, with no back and forth, you're making it very easy for a person to make a case on you. So, like, why are we acting dumb?
We talked about last night. Fuck all that. Let me.
And then, like, why does another grown man need somebody to baby them about something that they allegedly did? Like, if you didn't do it, he wouldn't even need to give you this pep talk before you open your mouth. He knows that you're a firecracker and that you're about to be ready to go off about the situation, knowing you're legally not allowed to talk about that girl on stream. So you're going to have your friend do it for you. Good luck.
Let me say something. It's not.
No, I'm saying, but I don't know where that even came from.
Yo, stop these fake allegations. This is a father. This is a real person. This is a good.
Yes, we are all real people. We are all real people. What is that supposed to do for me? This is a real person. And you know there are real people that are evil every single day. What has you being a father got to do with anything? Because you laid down with somebody and laid your seed. That means that you would never be an abuser.
Human being,
but I don't.
But hey, bro, we on stream, bro.
Come on, like I gotta be.
Just don't do it, bro.
Like I gotta be.
Just don't do it, bro. Come here.
Don't even make no sense.
Fuck all that.
I got to be in a simulation because you have to deal with the consequences of your possible actions.
That's my real friend.
That's how you know somebody has been shielded from their actions so many times before. When real life consequences feel like a simulation, that's how you know this boy been protected for a minute.
We're not gonna do no false shit to ruin this stream. He's a great human being. He does a lot
You don't know that it's false.
for a lot of people. He's a man. He's a father. And
He does a lot for a lot of people. And that's the other thing. People think because they do good things for other people, that negates the fact that they could do bad things to other people. Just because you've done good things for others, or even that you've done a good thing for this specific person, two things can be true at the same time. You could be a good person and a good father, and you could do so many things for people, and you can also be a down low, dirty person to others, especially when you get in your feelings. That's why emotional regulation is so important and why it's so important to go to therapy, especially if you're a high profile person, you have reasons to be entitled, you have the weight of the world on your shoulders, you're a new father. Like, all of these things would make any normal person lose their mind from time to time. That's why you have all this money, put it into therapy.
we're gonna respect him. We're gonna love him. WDDG, and fuck anyone who got anything to say. Yeah, DD is not gonna come on the stream. He's just gotta go handle what he's gotta handle. So all love to my brother. We will figure something out.
And I hope him handling it is him doing things properly, the legal way. I hope he didn't show up at that girl's house. I hope he didn't do nothing crazy, because I'm gonna be honest, that's the other fear that a woman has when she puts a restraining order on somebody. Is now you know that the law knows what you've done. And the last thing that these types of people want to happen is for them to be found out. So they will do crash out stuff, crazy crash out stuff when they find out that somebody has told on them. I've watched it happen so many times in my life. Be careful.
Out.
Forget Aiden Ross because, boy, shush.
You going to jail. Whoa.
Shush. I love me some Jesse Wu. I'm going to get into that later, and we gon' maybe go over that. So I also wanted to get into something else. Well, it's the same topic, but it's something else. So the reason I want to get into this is because if I had a side to pick, I think y'all would know what side I'm on. But because, again, this is all alleged, and I'm not there. I wasn't there. Not there right now. Don't know what's going on. I wanted to point out a pattern of behavior, because one thing about an abuser, 9 times out of 10, the person that tells on them and finally gets them caught up for what they do is not the first person that's blown the whistle, that's been abused by them. They're just not the first person. And in this scenario, the one thing that does lead me to believe that he could have done it, because everything's alleged, that he could have done it, is the fact that he's been accused of doing this before. So we about to get into that too. Just because I'm sure that there's going to be people, I know that there are people out there right now today, that don't believe it, won't believe it, but when it comes to patterns of behavior, pay attention to them. Pay attention when people exhibit patterns of behavior, especially if they're negative. All right, so y'all know that DDG used to date Ruby Rose, and y'all feel like, oh, if she's dated multiple rappers, then she's a 304, and 304s have no credibility. I don't know where y'all got that from. 9 times out of 10, a 304, what y'all call a 304, will be the most honest person you'll ever meet. Because what do I have to hide? You're already going to shame me regardless of what I say, so why would I lie? When the truth already makes me look bad enough, what do I have to lie about? And again, it's a pattern of behavior. I probably would look at each of these cases as, oh, like if Halle was the first person to ever say anything about this, I might question it. I might be like, is he really that type of person? But now 2 people that you've dated have come out and said the same thing about you. I always say when multiple people have the same story about you, everybody can't be lying. Ruby Rose didn't call Halle up and say, hey, once he does this, you need to accuse him of this. That ain't what happened. It's not. It's another, and another thing for the girlies is pay attention. What he did to his last, don't ever think he won't do it to you. I've dated people that have given me the old runaround, the old okey doke. My baby mama, she terrible. She's evil. She just da 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 da, and she's called the police on me so many times, or I went to jail because of her. I went to jail because of her. I got a DV case. It ain't what it looks like. Don't believe what you read. Don't. If they have a DV case, they probably did that stuff. Police don't want to do their jobs when it comes to DV. I think part of it is like this, like they know that a lot of people go back to their abusers. So a woman will be abused and then she'll come back and be like, that didn't really happen. It didn't happen like that. Like it throws their credibility off. Police don't want to deal with it. They don't really care. Like there's a whole bunch to it. So if a person has a DV charge and they're telling you it ain't what it looked like, it is what it looks like. Believe what they're telling you that is the lie. Believe what they're telling you is the lie. Because ain't no way that that woman is the devil and you have children with her. Like, she might not be the best person on the planet, but there's no way that that woman is the devil and you got a kid with her. And vice versa. And without the kid, ain't no way you was with this person for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years and they was just always wrong. There's no way. So you did something, you're just not admitting it. So let's get into this.
What's good, YouTube? It's your girl, Melanie Monroe. Another day, more YouTube drama, as you can tell by the title of this video. And I have the receipts, so I'm just going to wait for a few of y'all to trade. It has been leaked all over Twitter, and it's pictures, and there's text messages, and there are, hello.
So this is from 3 years ago, by the way.
And there are receipts of these allegations, and so we just gonna get into it, y'all. People are in the comments on Instagram saying that, okay, so it all started with this. So this message.
Okay, y'all. Your girl is blind, so let's see if I can.
These are messages between.
Maybe she'll read them. Hold on.
DDG and Ruby Rose. Somehow, some way, somebody got into their Instagram account and exposed their messages. The messages on the screen, in the gray are DDG, and the light blue are Ruby Rose, and it says, "I get you mad, but I'm telling you, Ruby, I'm not Lala. I'm gonna F your whole career up. Don't do it to yourself." This is February 12th.
Well, when y'all say, well, why didn't she come forward sooner? This is why. This is the type of stuff that these people say to you. And if their career is bigger than yours in the public sphere, you probably believe them. Because they have the ability to mess with your reputation. And oh, by the way, unfortunately, y'all are quicker to believe an abuser than you are to believe a victim. I don't know why. I don't know what the cause of it is. I don't know if people just wasn't loved right when they was being raised. If people just never had an example of true love the way that it's supposed to be. If people have just been so desensitized to abuse that they're quicker to believe the abuser than the abused, I don't know. But I will say, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
At 4:43 p.m., he said, "I got love for you. I really don't want to do you bold online. I'm telling you it's going to be bad, Ruby. Just stop." She said, "It's already bad. You're threatening to end my career if I tell people how you hit on me. More things to show on my live. Thank you." He said, DG responds and said, "LOL, if you go live, bro, just know you really lost me. Have a blast. You gonna..."
And that's another thing that they love to do. They love to tell you, "Oh, I'm gone. You piece of garbage. Good. I need you to be out of my life." The heck? There's like a dumpster looking at you in the face and being like, "Play with me. I'm going to get taken out. here on Tuesday. Like, I don't want you. You're baggage. You're grime. You're scum of the earth. I don't want you anymore. I hate to say it, but if you're putting your hands on a woman as a man, you're a slime ball.
Lose all respect from me and anybody I F with or you F with. Just think before you do is all I'm gonna say. So then the conversation continued and she went on and said this is allegedly the picture of the marks of him where he put his hands on her.
Y'all notice how it's the same arm, same position, and I'm gonna tell you what that wound or what that's from, because I've gotten a few of those before. That's from somebody grabbing you up by the arm and not letting go of you so that way they can get control of you. They're either trying to hold you somewhere and stop you from being able to get away from them. They're putting up some sort of fight with you. And it's usually grabbing of the arm and not letting it go to the point where it bruises. Hers is a little harder to see than Halle's. But the fact that both of these women on their right arm are getting held to that degree, baby.
He said to him, I told you how a man did me and you do the same stuff and make fun of me while doing it and stuff.
And I hate to say it, but girlies, that's one thing these men love to do. You tell them what you've been through, they gonna put you through it again. And I'm not about to talk about, I'm not saying all men at all. Please don't ever confuse these slime balls for all men. Because there are very good men out there that will treat you right, that will protect you from people like him, that will go to jail over people like him. But they're hard to find. They are hard to find. But yes, be careful about what you divulge and how soon you do it when it comes to dating. Because there are times when these men are taking notes, mental notes of everything that you told them that you've been through, so that way they can throw it back in your face or do the same thing to you and then laugh at you while they do it to you.
And the same stuff he did, tell me no man will ever love me, I'm a whore, and all the same stuff. You haven't been telling me you love me lately and you need another girl to talk to, but I won't speak on it at all. Respect me and don't speak on me. So basically she was saying that the whole time he was putting his hands on her, he was doing to her what her ex did. He was doing to her what her ex did to her, which was put his hands on her. And once again, people are saying that they thought that he put his hands on Kennedy, and that's why Kennedy stuck around for so long, because they thought that this was going on. So once again, this is all over Twitter, you guys. Make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. So they went on to, so DDG and Ruby went on and the conversation continued, and this is what she said. He said, if you don't, I ain't even gonna respond. I'm gonna just cut you out of my life. She said, you trying to make me look like a cheater. I can show you're an abuser, an abusive man bully.
Ooh, and then the campaign that they go on the campaign that they go on to try to prove that you're the piece of garbage and they're not. Like, I've been told, oh, I'll tell everybody who you really are. Baby, they know who I really am. I show up as who I really am every single day when they see me in person. You're the only person that's pretending to be somebody that you're not. Do not allow the slander campaign to get the best of you. Any person that actually knows you for who you are, knows your character well enough to know what you would and would not do, and whether they're willing to go to bat for you with that person or not, they're going to show whose side they pick by choosing to continue to be in your life or not. If they leave because of the slander campaign, they were not really for you in the first place. Point blank, period. Anybody that's swayed by just anybody, especially somebody that's abused you, is also an abuser themselves. And they just don't have any business being in your life. So don't allow that idea that, like, if I leave or if I expose this for what it is, everybody's going to leave me. If everybody does leave you, then God just did you a favor. They cleared the table so that way you can have actual people that mess with you in your circle. Just know that. It's hard to believe right now if you're going through it, but get up out of there with your sanity, as much of it as you can take back, and forget them people. Anybody that don't see you for who you really are, forget them people, because they weren't gonna see you for who you really were eventually anyway.
He said, do what you got to do, just move on. And then he said, when I got caught up, you tried to make me look like a weirdo, like I was messing with somebody and you was posting videos on my phone. I ain't do none of that. I'ma air out your whole stuff if you try to make me seem like I'm beating you up. And then he went on to send her, basically he sent her $100 for hush money, is what people are saying this $100
is
was
crazy.
for. He went on and sent her $100 on Apple
$100
Pay
ain't enough, baby.
to keep her quiet. Your live sticking. Who released the receipts? The receipts are on Twitter, on DDG's Twitter. So yes, allegedly DDG put his hands on Ruby Rose. He gave her $100 not to expose it. She posted pictures. Well, the person that allegedly hacked into her Twitter account posted the pictures and the conversation between Ruby Rose and DDG. He allegedly put these scars on Ruby Rose.
I don't think they hacked it. I think that she wanted it out and she maybe gave her password to somebody. Now, this is speculation. This is all speculation. So don't take what I'm saying to be for real. I feel like she gave her password to somebody so that way that this information could get out, because at the end of the day, the girlies needed to know. But it definitely could not look like she was the one that exposed it. Because it's a very convenient timing for the middle of you going through abuse allegations for something to get leaked. That said, you have to play chess, not checkers. So take a page from this book, ladies.
And he basically told her if she exposed him, it was going to be some serious issues. And he gave her $100 allegedly for hush money. How do you guys feel about this? Do you guys feel like
$100 is so disrespectful?
Do you guys feel like
especially if you look at his net worth 3 years ago, $100? You better put some more zeros behind them, that $100, if you want hush money to be given, because that ain't nothing. That's honestly disrespectful. Like, you might as well have given me $10 to be quiet. Huh? Frankly, no amount of money is worth abuse. No amount of money is worth abuse. And no amount of money is worth not being able to tell your story so that way other people don't have to go through the same thing that you did. But anyway,
DDG would do something as such. How do you guys feel? Do you feel like this is not true?
I feel like if it walks like a duck, if it talks like a duck, moves like a duck, it's probably a duck. Probably, allegedly a duck. But I've given DVD enough of my time today. So we're going to get into one more thing, one more alleged abuser. And then I'm going to wrap this up for tonight. And we going to come back. We got some more to react to. So, y'all have probably all heard of the Meg Thee Stallion case. If you haven't, maybe you live under a rock, I'm not too sure. But hold on, y'all. I gotta fix my screen. Maybe you live under a rock, I'm not too sure. Sorry. But basically, Tory Lanes has been in jail for the last year, I think, for allegedly pew-pewing Meg Thee Stallion. From my understanding, the charge that he's facing is not him taking accountability for the pew-pewing. It's him breaking his probation because he was already on probation. Because he was around a firearm. Now, with this one, I don't know enough about the case to have an opinion formed for y'all. I don't like how everybody jumps down the victim's throat every time, especially when it's a black woman. I don't like it. I don't know what happened. I'm not here to say, but I'm not a fan of victim blaming. I'm not. But that said, again, don't know enough, don't know what happened, wasn't there, like I said in the last scenario. But one thing about it, two things for sure. If I did not do something like that, the actions that that man took after, I would have never done it. The video with the horse legs and he's cutting them up and he's doing this and doing that as a play on the stallion, all that, like, it's giving OJ writing a book titled If I Did It after getting away with the unaliving of his ex-wife and her suitor. Or his wife at the time, whichever one it was. If I didn't do something that heinous, I wouldn't even play around with it. Like, the level of karma that would come from that, it is not even worth it, especially if I did not do it. Supposedly he's a known hothead, and I don't know, it's just something fishy about the whole situation. Now somebody's coming out 5 years later talking about, I overheard them having a conversation about how Kelsey did it and Tory's just covering it up. Well, you know what? He ain't even in jail for that. He's in jail because he broke the law by being around that firearm on probation. Don't even know what he was on probation for, but like, what? What are we talking about here? Now, this is one thing I will say. Because I'm not there, because I wasn't there, because I personally don't know what happened. Most of y'all don't know what happened personally because y'all wasn't there either. The only thing that I will caution against in this scenario is be careful what you wish for. The man got attacked in prison, and the sentiment that's going around the internet is like, oh, he got attacked because of what he did. Well, when we watch this video, you're going to understand that the person that hurt him has done worse. So I don't think that it's about, oh, you did something wrong to a woman, so now I'm going to do something wrong to you. No. I think that this is completely prison politics. In prison, you got blacks, whites, Hispanics. There's different gangs. And if you're a person of special interest, you got a target on your head. If you're from a different gang, as it stands anyway, you have a target on your head. But being a star outside of there, you have an extra big target on your head in there. So once he kind of breaks down what really went down, you get a better idea of where I'm coming from with that. But yeah, just understand that the wishing bad on somebody who may or may not have done something bad doesn't always bode well for you. So I tend to stay away from it. I pray for people. I try to stay away from making assumptions, because it's not worth it to me to put the spiritual implications of wishing bad on somebody, especially somebody that could or could not have done what they're accused of. And at the end of the day, anybody that goes to jail or prison could or could not have done that thing unless there is, without a shadow of a doubt, evidence. And there's evidence, but I can't say that it's without a shadow of a doubt evidence. And I'm going to bring the Bible into it real quick, because this just part of what Tea Time with Tab is about. So John 8:7. So when they continued asking him, he raised himself up and he said to them, he who is without sin among you, let him throw the stone first. Let him throw a stone at her first. And nobody threw a stone. In this scenario in the Bible, somebody is being accused of something. They are about to get corporal punishment, and God is saying to the people, he who is without sin cast the first stone. And nobody threw a stone, because none of us are without sin. So this is what I mean when I say I don't put myself in a position to be the judge and the jury on things I was not there to witness with my own two eyes. I don't care who says what. There's his story, her story, and the truth. Somewhere probably in the middle. We don't really know what happened. So there's a lot of people out there that's, I know that he didn't do it. I know that he did it. I know that he didn't do it. I know that he did it. When it comes to victims, I'm going to always stand up for a victim. Point blank, period. That said, I'm not about to sit here and be like, yeah, he got harmed. He got physically touched. Yay. No, that's not going to be me. Whether he did it or he didn't do it, I'm not wishing death on anybody, especially death before they come to Christ. And they'll throw out these PR statements with the God, he thanks God and da 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 da. We don't even know whose God is. So I'm gonna just start this video with that. All right, let's get into it.
Man, what's up, everybody? It's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all, and y'all rocking with me. And for this video, we're gonna be speaking on Tory Lanes getting stabbed inside a prison and the man who did it. May 12, 2025, located north of Los Angeles lies the California Correctional Institution in Tehachapi, California. And
just a little foreboding. Just a little foreboding. Do y'all see this right here? Attacked by prisoner who blanked his underage GF with a blank. So this idea that like, oh, they did it because people don't mess with people that harm women and children. As you can see from this title, as you're about to see in this video, that man don't care a lick about women or children, because his crime was against one of both of those categories, all in one. So I don't think that this is about Meg or him harming a woman. I think that this is part of gang politics, or I'm sorry, prison politics. And this is why I urge y'all, control your emotions so you can stay out of jail and prison. Because it's a nasty, nasty world to live in.
In 2021, the prison closed its minimum custody facility, meaning its 2,600 inmates were level 3 or level 4. These are the most dangerous levels in California State Prison, where race, gangs, and strict politics are enforced with deadly consequence. The only step above this would be the maximum security inmates housed within the security housing unit, otherwise known as the SHU. A disciplinary confinement reserved for the prison's most violent, whose only escape from a cell is a human dog cage. It was 7:20 in the morning when 32-year-old Daystar Peterson, who's more commonly known as the rapper Tory Lanes, was violently attacked. TMZ would originally report multiple sources, including a corrections officer, claimed Tory was on the prison yard, but an updated report from a representative of the California Department of Corrections would clarify Tory was attacked within a housing unit. Prison staff rushed into the unit administering first aid while quickly determining Tory suffered life-threatening injuries, forcing them to call 911. Video would emerge of who's believed to be Tory Lanes landing in a life flight helicopter at Kern Medical Center in Bakersfield, California, an hour-long drive from the prison. With that distance, a helicopter was the only form of transportation able to move him fast enough to save his life. A message to Tory Lanes' Instagram account would state he'd been stabbed 14 times, 7 wounds to his back, 4 to his torso, 2 to the back of his head, and 1 to the left side of his face. Both of his lungs collapsed and he had to be placed on a breathing apparatus. Luckily, Tory was breathing on his own, and despite the pain was talking normally, in good spirits, and deeply thankful to God that he is pulling through. He also wanted to thank everyone for their continued prayers and support. Based on his wounds, it can be assumed Tory was attacked from behind, as the majority of his wounds struck his back and behind his head. Initially, no word was released as to who did it, leaving room for speculation. Because this took place in California, the only time someone is stabbed and it doesn't result in a race riot is if they are stabbed by their own race. But that isn't the case here. Compton rapper Spider Loc would post a conversation with a current inmate at Tehachapi.
Now, this part, I'm a little scared for it. Because I don't know if y'all ever seen Orange is the New Black. One of them last episodes when they had that uproar, that little riot. I hope, I pray that prison is ready for whatever comes after this phone call.
The man would claim Tory was on a tier full of Mexicans when a Mexican stabbed Tory. He'd confirmed Tory had to be airlifted from the prison and the prison was placed on lockdown. He'd also confirmed as soon as the lockdown is lifted, the blacks will be seeking revenge on the Mexicans.
What's Gucci?
What's cracking?
What it do, Five?
Shit, nothing much to look, right? This morning, brother, the Mexican out and bust on the boy Tory. You know, they airlifted him and all that, so you know, that's gonna respond when we come off this shit. We're gonna respond the right way to that.
Allegedly, everything that I'm saying in this video is alleged. Everything that they're saying in this video, everything he's saying in this video is alleged. I might not have prefaced that. I'm gonna make sure I drop it at the end too. This is all alleged.
Like the yard down?
No, it happened in the building.
What was it over? It was over some. What he had did he have a debt, a gambling debt or something?
Nah, nothing like that. Shit, we don't even really know. We don't even know the whole situation, you know.
So it was just like some foul play. So it's finna be up.
Yeah, it's for sure with some foul play.
Damn, cuz. Wasn't nobody right there with him when it happened? Wasn't nobody right there with him when it went down?
Yeah, I guess nobody wasn't. He was by himself out there. He got a whole tier full of necks. He on a whole tier full of necks.
Wow.
But you already know, once we get off this shit, we press play on, we press play.
I'm already knowing. God damn.
Tehachapi has a known reputation for being SNY, otherwise known as a special needs yard. These yards are known to house gang dropouts, snitches, sex offenders, and anyone else whose life is threatened by being in general population. But California has also recently implemented 50-50 yards, half general population, half SNY, to integrate the two prison societies. This goes against strict prison gang politics, mainly for the Mexicans and whites who are allegedly forced to attack any rival or SNY inmate to essentially remove themselves from the yard until they are placed back in general population amongst the quote-unquote honorable convicts. While general population is deadly, it's controlled chaos, and SNY yards can be just as dangerous, if not worse, as the gang politics that keep things in line go out the window and violence becomes rampant. It's unclear if Tory was in fact SNY, as that comes with its own bad reputation within prison, but it's likely Tory was placed on a 50-50 yard and his politics didn't require him to remove himself. Now, Tory's attacker would be identified as 42-year-old Santino Casio, a man with a dark violent history. On June 8, 2022, a then 20-year-old Santino, who went by the name Sonny, was heard arguing with his 13-year-old girlfriend. Minutes later, she was shot in the face.
20 and 13. Pew-pewed in the face over an argument with a 13-year-old.
With a shotgun. Santino would go on the run for 2 weeks before being arrested. His own family would testify against him in court, how they...
You know how messed up you have to have been to have your own family stand up against you in a court of law? You know how much trauma you put your family through? I don't think this is about a woman being hurt. This is a scheme by Todd.
They heard the argument before the blast. A coroner would testify the barrel must have been 4 inches away from the girl's face before it went off.
How
An interview
disgusting.
from the day he was arrested will be played at trial where Santino admitted to having a relationship with the 13-year-old girl for a month before the shooting.
A
The
month.
girl was a runaway, while Santino was on parole from the California Youth Authority for burglary. In 2004, Santino would be sentenced to life in prison for murdering 13-year-old Evelyn Candejas and 2 other attempted murders from 2 separate stabbings. While in prison, he'd be sentenced to an additional 6 years for a prison stabbing on another inmate, and in 2018, he was sentenced to an additional 2 years for possessing a knife in prison. Santino Casio was as dangerous as they come.
Oh yeah, and he's known for doing what he did, so
But his conviction for murdering a
honestly, we just lucky he didn't take his life. Some people are gonna say he should have. Some people are gonna say he shouldn't have because he's innocent. I'm not here to debate either one. I'm just here to say it's a dang shame what this life will do to you.
a 13-year-old girl he'd been dating confirms he was definitely an SNY inmate, as he'd never be allowed to walk in general population without being stabbed or killed. Why he chose to attack Tory Lanes is unknown. Many question if Tory was targeted because of his own conviction for allegedly shooting his former friend Meg Thee Stallion. The fact that he had a female victim, many would assume would be reason enough for him to be hit. But Santino's case is far worse than Tory's could ever be portrayed, and offers no motive as to why this happened. Tory Lanes is expected to survive, and it can also be expected that Santino be placed in the shoe and receive additional time in prison for this attack. But what is more time to someone who's already serving a lifetime?
And this is the problem with these life cases. You got somebody that really doesn't have anything to live for. They're in prison. They're already lost soul. What else are they going to do other than wreak havoc? The prison system in this country needs reform. It really does.
A superstar rapper once on top of the world, now surrounded by killers with nothing.
That's about as far into that video as I'm gonna go. I think we got all the real important parts of it. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Tell me what you think. Thank y'all for tuning in to Tea Time with Tab. Soon, very soon, these will be live. I just have to get my footing playing with this form of content. Never done it before, so I wanted to make sure that my first run kind of went off without a hitch, that I didn't have anything to respond to, didn't put myself in a position to be nervous. But yes, so today we've gone over DDG and Tory Lanes. Hopefully, not even hopefully, I'm gonna have something more lighthearted moving forward, because these two have been disturbing me for the last 2 days. These two situations have been disturbing me for the last 2 days. So I got on here to talk about it. Thank y'all for tuning in, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye.